genocide.
Suffice it that the blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled in these laws. Limbs twisted and broken, eyes gouged from bloody sockets, flesh burned black.
Please. Await the dead. In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes. Jackie realizes that we're all just a mouse that a cat has by the tail.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Tonight is Monday, January 8th, 2007. Warning, the following show contains conservative posturing, radical Christian ideas, and may offend pagans, Wiccans, Islamic fundamentalists, and other unenlightened individuals. Callers and guests may be subjected to brash and offensive comments by the hosts and any other type of bullying tactics available. But that's okay. We know why you're here.
This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.
What's up, guys? This is Jay Scott.
This is Trey Lackey. Welcome to World of the Unexplained. Happy Elvis birthday to you.
Is it
all.
Elvis's birthday today?
It sure is.
I cannot believe I missed that.
January the
Me
8th.
of all people, I missed that.
Oh, well.
I wasn't listening to my Elvis radio today on Sirius Satellite Radio.
That's why I'm here, Scott, for this sort of facts.
That's right. You are the fact man. Well, listen up, guys. Tonight we've got Matthew Delooze with us. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him in just a second. He's on the line with us right now. First, I wanted to mention, though, that we have arranged a conference center now in Greensboro, North Carolina, the Out of the Darkness tour with Bill Schneblin, John Zaffis, myself, the Wotu crew, Laura Placeras from Full Moon Radio, and Teresa Bain, author of Actual Factual Dracula. That'll be happening June the 9th, 2007 at the, used to be the old Ramada, which is now by the airport in Greensboro, North Carolina. The tickets are $50 for this event, for the all-day event, $75 for the VIP ticket, which includes dinner with all of us and crazy drinking and partying. Now, I'm kidding about the crazy drinking and partying, but that includes dinner with all of us. And anyway, so check out outofdarknesstour.com for more information. That site's being built as we speak. And sign up for our newsletter if you guys get a chance, and we'll definitely be giving you updates. How is that going, Trent, by the way?
It's working along pretty nicely. You know, I've come up with some ideas and then trashed old ones and came up with some other ones.
Okay, well, just remember that has to come out this month.
I realize that, Scott.
All right, getting to Matthew Delooze. Matthew was abducted by aliens as a child, and these experiences have led him to uncover evidence that we are ruled covertly by reptilian aliens. He's done a lot of couple books, and he's also talks about some major events like Live 8 to support these ideas. The Serpent Cult, interdimensional aliens who are vampirizing our spiritual energy. That is the topic tonight on World of the Unexplained, and I would like to welcome to the show Mr. Matthew Delooze. How are you tonight, Mr. Delooze?
I'm fine, thank you very much, Jay. It's nice to speak to you. I appreciate you inviting me on the show this evening. Well, I'm in the UK, northern England. It's 1:10 in the morning here.
Oh, good. It's just the time for getting out of the pub.
So if you hear a thud and I fell off my chair falling asleep, you know.
Okay.
I haven't been kidnapped again.
All right.
Oh, man.
Now, you can check out a video that Matthew has available, as well as his blog, and you can also get a copy of his book by logging onto our site, worldoftheunexplained.com, and you can also log on to get a book at experiencers.net. Now, when was the first time, for our listeners, Michael, when was the first time that this happened to you? How old were you?
I was very, very young, 6 years old, approximately.
Wow.
I've said this before. Basically, it first started a very positive experience, really. Basically, to be blunt and quick, I was out playing one evening. I suddenly got an urge to rush home to my mother, thinking I was going to get told off for being late, as it was going dark. And this urge was very strong to actually get home. So I left the people I was with, which was my brother, my elder brother and his friends, and started to rush home.
Okay.
On the way home, I had to climb over a wall, and to get home, the quickest way of getting home was to climb over this wall. And as I was climbing over this wall, I spotted a little bird on a tree. It caught my eye. I'd spotted the same bird on the way out on the same evening. And basically, the bird hopped up the tree. It went up from branch to branch, and it just flew off. And it was going dark, but I could still see the bird. And as the bird flew away from me, it like flew towards what I seen as a light.
Okay. So this bird flew into this giant light,
or directed you to see the light.
It flew away off the tree, but it flew in the direction of a light, which caught my eye.
Okay.
And then I seemed to be transfixed on this light, and it seemed to move around erratically, but figure eight and this, that, and t'other, and just moving around fast, and it really got me transfixed on it. Then, to be honest, all of a sudden, I was in a mist, just a mist, like fog. Then I appear, out of nowhere, I seem to be in some sort of machine. Obviously, remember, I'm just a 6-year-old kid at this time, and I'm trying to understand what's going on at the time. And in this machine, some beings, human-looking beings, talking to me.
What did the machine look like, Matthew?
Well, as I say, it was a mist. I didn't see. All I remember was a light flashed right into my face, and then I was in a mist. I didn't actually see the machine from the outside, but inside it was just. It's hard to explain. It was just like being in a metal room, a very clean metal room, and a man with blonde hair approached me and started talking to me, because obviously I was getting a bit scared. And basically he said, "Come to the window. Don't be frightened. Come and look out this window." So I approached the window. And as I put my face towards the window, my face seemed to become part of the window. And everywhere I looked in this window, the window, I became the window, so to speak. You know, if that makes sense to you.
Uh-huh.
And everywhere I looked out of the window, I went to. So I immediately thought of where I'd come from, which was a park. I'd been playing on a park. And in an instant, I was over the park looking down, and I could see my brother and his friends and the people I'd been playing with. And then I thought of my school, where I went to school. And in an instant, I was looking over my school. And then I started to worry a bit, and I thought of my mother. I thought my mother's going to be wondering where I am. I'm going to have to get home. What am I doing here? You know, that sort of thing. And next news, I was over my home again, and I could see my mother through the window.
Okay.
Actually, she was washing up. I can even remember her washing the dishes in the sink. And after that, I seemed to fly straight up in the air at a massive speed.
Okay. Had you ever, at the age of 6, had you ever been on an airplane before?
No. I came from a very poor family. We didn't even have a car, Jay.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering, you know, when you look back at some of these experiences as a child, you know, they seem so much larger than life then when you have less to compare them to, you know.
Well, yeah. It was so weird to me at the time. But anyway, I seemed to fly up. We seemed to fly up miles and miles and miles and miles. It went completely dark. And I remember saying to the people there, I want wanted to go home, and if you don't let me go home, I'm going to get the police onto you, that sort of thing. And I started to get very upset, and I started to basically bawl my eyes out, started crying. And I remember being very, very, very upset. And because I got very upset, a beautiful-looking lady seemed to appear in the room. She just appeared where I was. And she seemed to know me. She seemed to know me very well. And she said to me, I know you cannot understand that you know me, but you do know me. It's just that you don't understand that you know me.
Okay.
And to cut a long story short, Jay, she told me that I had to meet up with these people because they'd come to warn me. Obviously, I'm only, as I say, keep repeating, I was only a little lad. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And basically, these people told me that they'd come to warn me that some bad things were going to happen to me. I'm going to have bad things happen to me, but I hadn't to worry. And they took me into another room on this machine. It just seemed slidey doors or mist or whatever. And next to us, I'm sat in this chair.
Okay.
And they did something to the back of my spine, at the top of my spine, at the back of my neck. And
did they put some kind of alien implant in?
Well, I don't know what they did. I couldn't see, but all I could feel, I felt a massive surge of a pain in the top of my spine.
Okay.
And I started screaming again. What the bloody hell are you doing, sort of thing? Get off,
Yeah.
The lady just touched me, and she said, "This is just to let you know that when you do suffer pain, we will be there to take it away as soon as we can."
So they treated you basically.
All I wanted rid of was the pain. I didn't want any symbolic statements telling me at the time. I was only a kid.
So they basically gave you pain and took it away to show you that they could take the pain away.
Yes, they was telling me that if I suffered pain, that they would take it away.
So they were basically treating you like Pavlov's dog, in a sense.
Well, yes, I suppose so. I know it was a positive thing. It was telling me that they would come to my assistance if I suffered in the future.
Well, let's fast forward then. What happened in the future when you did suffer this pain?
Shortly after, as I say, I landed back on Earth, to put it bluntly, and basically I was in a daze, but I had a very strong urges not to tell my parents what had gone on.
I can understand.
Went home and pretended nothing had happened. Something was stopping me speaking about it. Could you explain something like that? I'd probably be, even at 6-year-old, I'd probably been put in a mental institution for saying stuff like that, or I've certainly been sent to see a psychiatrist. Anyway, I had very strong urges not to say anything about it. And a bit of time went by. Then I started having very negative experiences, just as the lady had told me I would. And I was basically, you've probably heard many tales of night visitors in this sort of situation. Alien beings coming into people's bedrooms, paralysing them, taking them out the window, zooming them away and messing around with them. Well, my experiences are just exactly the same as that.
How many times have you been? Well, let me start out. How old are you now, Matthew? If you'll tell us.
I am late 40s now.
Okay, in late 40s, starting at the age of 6. How many times have you been abducted?
Well, I was abducted when I was young, until I was about teenager, 14.
So that you're not abducted anymore.
No, not as I know of. No.
Okay. Now, what did these beings tell you over time while you were a teenager?
Well, the negative ones didn't really tell me anything. They just treated me badly and messed around with me. Just very nasty things, taking sperm, stuff like that. The usual things you've heard about over the last 20 years about negative abductions. Basically, I was messed around with and mistreated happened to me. I don't really want to go.
Oh no, that's okay. We don't want you to go into those. But
it's not that I don't want to go into it. It's just that it takes so long. But basically, I was, as you say, these medical experiments that go on. Similar sort of things. I had sperm taken off me by being made to be sexually aroused, even though I was only 10 years old.
Wow.
Something like that. I was shown hybrid children. Basically, I had red hair when I was younger, and basically, I was shown these two babies that were reptilian, but they silly ginger hair on them. You know, something totally stupid. Obviously, something messing around with my mind, showing me things in my mind that had symbolic effects on me.
They were showing you this as you were a child?
Yes, they were showing me children I'm supposed to have produced. Two children.
That they had made themselves?
They had taken sperm from me, and they had made them with some of them.
At 10 years old?
At 10 years old, yes.
So what's the relationship between...
Wait a minute. I didn't think biological... I mean, no, I can't talk today.
Well,
obviously...
I can assure you I ejaculated at 10 years old.
No, that's not where I was... Well, that was kind of where I was going. I was going to say, you know, some people hit puberty earlier than others, but 10 years old, that is awful young.
10 years old, yes. I had pubic hair at 10 years old.
Wow. Okay. So they were taking your sperm and creating new humans.
Humanoids.
Well, they look like reptilian hybrids.
So they
showed me these two reptilians, and then they took them away. You know, sounds ridiculous, I know, but that is what I experienced.
What's the relationship between the first human-ish looking people, the ones that look more like humans, that were telling you things were going to be okay and we can take the pain away from you and everything like that, and these more sinister reptilian little monsters that gave you so much torment? I mean, what's the relationship between the two groups, from what you can figure?
The first beings that I had contact with were obviously very positive, nice, concerned people, and the reptilian type beings were very nasty, cruel, sort of, well, just nasty people, nasty beings. I can't call them people, but positive and negative, I suppose, is the best way of describing it.
Okay.
Now, when did you first come out and tell people about these experiences?
I didn't. I put them. The experiences stopped around 1970s, right around 1974, and I basically put them out of my mind. They were always in the back of my mind, but basically I put them to rest.
Yeah.
And then, well, I've had what people would see as a normal life. I got married in the early 80s. Brought up two children of my home.
When you had children, weren't you worried about your own children being abducted in the same way you were?
Yes, I was, and I kept a fatherly eye on them all the way through the childhood, and waited for them to talk about such experience. And luckily, they have never mentioned anything.
Okay.
They don't seem to have any of that experience whatsoever.
Now, how did you get now? David Icke has featured your book on his website as well, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Yeah.
How did you first meet up with David Icke?
Well, I didn't meet up with David Icke first. I met up with his manager, one of his managers, his book manager, Mr. Peters. Okay. And I spoke to David later on after I contacted Mr. Peters. I can't say that David believes everything I've written in his book. He's just he's Mr. Peters that's responsible for putting my book on his site.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering. David Icke is, we've known David for a while. He's been on the show before. Really, really cool guy to talk to. And I saw that connection there. That's why I was just going to mention it. I didn't know if you and David had talked extensively about these things.
We have talked. Me and David have talked. Yes.
Oh, okay.
But the initial connection was with his manager, Mr. Peters. It wasn't with David himself. But me and David have talked about things, and that's that. Basically, going back to the abduction, I led a normal life from 1974. Got married, have 2 children. Then in 1990, in the mid-90s, I saw a psychic. I heard from a psychic who told me that I was going to suffer a very traumatic event in my life after 1997.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Now this is before your trip to Egypt.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get on talk about that then. This psychic told you were going to be going to other all kinds of places.
The psychic said I would suffer some great trauma after 1997.
Okay.
And at the time I was working in a aerospace factory in Lancashire, where I live in northern England, and over a period of 18 months from 1997. At the time, I'd actually fobbed off what the psychic had said as being silly talk. I didn't take any notice of it. But exactly 18 months after 1997, I went through a very traumatic time in my life with work pressures and marriage pressures and all pressures that life can send to you. They all seemed to come to me at once, and I went through a very, very difficult time. And during this time, I started to remember bits of my childhood and stuff like that. And it came to a head in late 1998. It happened at work. I was working up some ladders at the time, and basically I was thinking of ending my life at the time.
Okay.
I'd come to a stage in my life where I didn't want to go on. And suddenly I had a very strong, I can only describe it, Jay, as a zap from down my spine.
Okay.
I felt a very big power source fire down my spine. It literally vibrated. My spine literally vibrated in my body. And it just felt like a powerful electric surge go through my body. And I've never been the same since. Everything that the psychic told me in 95 had come true. Literally every word I was told had come true. And from
now, why did you go see the psychic in the first place?
Well, it was just coincidence. It just happened. At the time, I thought it was just coincidence. It just happened. It just happened. I didn't plan anything. It just appeared at the time. I'm not one. I wasn't one. I wasn't one for believing psychics or all like that anyway. Apart from the childhood experience, I was a down-to-earth sort of skeptic sort of person, I basically was. I worked on a factory floor, Jay, and call a spade, and this sort of thing, it didn't appeal to me at all.
Well, we're gonna have to take a short break. If you'll hang on to that thought and stick on the line with us, Matthew, we'll be right back.
Call Jay Scott and Trent Lackey now at 1-877-SCARE-YOU-TOO. Call Jay Scott and Trent Lackey now at 1-877-SCARE-U2.
And we're back to World of the Unexplained. If you want to call in tonight, our numbers are 1-877-722-7382. And for those people who don't like to use numbers, it's 1-877-SCARE-U2. The local number is 336-996-1596. And also, if you're phone shy, you can jump into our chat room, ask questions there. You can get the...
But we don't like it if you're phone shy.
Yeah, we want you to call. But if you're having problems getting in, then you need to go to www.karmacast.com/chat and then
re-register.
Re-register. Just put a new username, use new password. We had some problems with it last week, but it seems to be that it's working fine, and all the regulars who come in, they know about this already, and if you don't, then now you do. Okay, so
we're here tonight with Matthew Delooze, and we're going to talk about the Reptilian agenda.
So going on with what you were saying before the break, Matthew?
Yeah, well, back to retirement, my experiences, as I was told by a psychic in 95, that from 1997, I would experience severe trauma, and I would learn a great deal from it. Even though I would suffer, I would learn from the suffering I went through. Mm-hmm. And obviously, as I've already said, I didn't take much notice of it at the time, but I did when I started suffering. It all came flooding back. And as I say, I was up a ladder one day in working on an aircraft factory floor, and I felt a sudden surge run down my spine. My spine literally vibrated in my body, and it had a very drastic effect on me. And as I said, I've never been the same since. I'd say from 1998 to 2000, I was literally sat at home taking information in. Just basically sat there at home for nearly 2 years. Everybody around me just thought I'd gone mad. I was a crackpot, a nutcase, lunatic, whatever you want to call it. But, poor old Matthew sat there. He's had a bad experience and he's had a nervous breakdown, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And literally, that was the best position to be in at the time because nobody bothered me. I could research, I could get my thoughts together. And I felt a direction to research things. And I started... basically, I lost my job because of the experience I'd gone through. Everybody thought I was a raving lunatic. And I'm sat at home, I'm unemployed, I'm worried about all that. I've got a wife and I had two young sons now. They're grown up now, but at the time they were still pretty young. And I had all that pressure, and I was directed... I was literally led down a path of seeking legal actions for my job and stuff like that, my pension. And I was led, on to cut it short, on a small journey where I came to understand that the system we live under, the actual, what we believe is a free world, a free country, the UK, and obviously you think so in the States as well. I basically found out that we don't live in a free country. We live in a fascist state, but we can't see it because we somehow become hypnotised, and we can only see what we're told to see. We don't actually see what's actually going on.
Yeah, and you believe that the forces behind the controlling this planet, we'll call them the Illuminati for lack of a better term right now, and all of the headstones as far as the figureheads, the U.S. President, the Queen, all of these people, the world leaders are actually part of this reptilian race. Is that correct?
Well, I believe these people are agents for alien beings.
Now, do you believe that they're half-breeds? Are they, or are they
like
just being used? Yeah.
If you get it onto the term of shapeshifters, I don't know. I've never experienced any shapeshifting myself personally. What I do know is that the figureheads of our world are agents for alien beings. Obviously, we're jumping very, very far ahead from me suffering at work to the figureheads that are in this world at this time. Going back to my experiences, as I said, I literally felt directed to take information in, and my own personal path. I was led through the local government in the local town. I found that to be corrupt, totally corrupt. I was then directed to the industrial tribunals and the courts, and I experienced total corruption inside them. It was like I was being led down a path and being shown something. I actually felt like Ebenezer Scrooge in the film The Christmas Carol, where the ghost come and show him his future. That's how I actually felt at the time. I was being spiritually directed on a path to show me how corrupt this world is.
Now, was this communication, was it very straightforward, or was it more metaphysical, spiritual? I mean, was it like tuning in on a radio and picking up a station, or was it directly, you just saw signs and wonders, so to speak?
It was basically like someone was grabbing hold of me and shoving me and pushing me. I was literally pushed to places. I had tremendous urges to go places.
Now, do you feel like you were? Do you feel like you were pushed to go to Egypt?
Eventually, yes. That was much later on. But in the early stages, I was just shown just how really corrupt the establishment is. But obviously I couldn't see before because I wasn't looking. I actually believed that everything was above board and true and honest, and it isn't. It's very, very, very corrupt. It's only when you challenge the establishment that you find out how corrupt it is. As long as we go along with what we're told is the world we live in, then we can never see what is actually going on. We're blind to it. We are literally hypnotized into seeing a world that doesn't exist. It's a false illusion. And what I went through from 1999 to 2001 was basically a lesson to see the world I used to live in prior to 1999 and the world I could see after 1999. Yeah. I just felt like anybody else did prior to 1999. I just lived a normal life. All I did was watch sport, go to the pub, this, that, and t'other. I never looked into how corrupt the courts was, or I never even thought about it, to be honest with you. I was too busy making a living and looking after my kids and this, and and what people see as a normal life. I never even thought above that. The total time in my life was taken up by earning a living, making sure my kids were fed and stuff like this. And it was only after my experiences at work in 1999 that I started to think different, because I'd spent 10 years working in an aircraft factory, basically being a robot, because all I was doing was getting up, going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, and not actually thinking about what I was here for, what my life was about.
Yeah.
My life was passing me by without me even thinking, why am I here? Why am I doing this? I'm just a clone. And the direction that was pushing me was far stronger than the previous hypnotic control I'd been under. I think that's the best way I can describe it. I'd basically de-hypnotized myself through through the trauma I've been through.
No. Part of my question, Matthew, you know, when a lot of us go through these types of traumatic experiences, not that I've been through anything like you have, but
Yeah.
when we go through these kinds of experiences, a lot of people turn to the church, they turn to God. How did this work out? How did that work out for you, or did you even try that route?
Well, yes, because that's a very good point, Jay. Really, because when I first experienced the vibrations in my spine, I automatically thought I'd been hit with some divine force or something.
Uh-huh.
And that's the first thing that entered me. I'd found God or something, you know, somebody was telling me something. But I later realised that I only had those thoughts because of the education I'd received during the time at school.
No, were your parents religious people?
No. My dad was a communist, a trade union communist sort of person.
Wow.
Left-winger.
Wow.
He denied the existence of anything spiritual.
Just an absolute materialist, so to speak. Wow.
So I wasn't influenced that way, but I was educated in a Church of England school.
Okay.
And I'd been religiously educated there, and obviously when the things happened to me in 1999, I automatically thought that I found God, you know, I'm religious. And for a few months I was walking around as though I had an epiphany. It was really strange for me. I was trying to make sense of it inside myself, and it took me a while to do that. But yes, I did at first think it was something religious. And I know it wasn't something religious. Quite the opposite. It wasn't religion. I've come to learn that religion is part of the hypnotic process we go through from birth. And it's used against us. It's not used for us.
Well, I'd have to disagree with you on that. I think religion.
Well, that's fine. You can disagree. I'm just telling you my experiences.
Yeah.
My own personal opinion now is that we are symbolically, from birth, we are symbolically imprisoned by religion, and we're symbolically imprisoned by religion until we die. And then when we die, we go through a symbolic ritual that ensures that we come back to this world again. We're going way ahead of us, Sally.
No, I know. I know in your book you describe, us being basically, use a chicken shack analogy, and us being chickens trapped in this chicken shack and not peering out through our own feces, basically through the window to see what's really going on and who's really keeping the whole thing, going, who's in control.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Now,
that doesn't mean to say I'm against anybody that wants to believe in religion or what. That's entirely up to them.
No, I know that, but I know there's part of your book also, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong. I read so much of this stuff, it gets, I mix people up from time to time. But I believe you also mentioned part of the words "Amen" being at the end of the thing, referring to the Egyptian god Amun-Ra.
Yeah. Do you want me to speak about that?
Yeah. Go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, basically, from a Christian point of view, and as I say, I went to a Christian school. I've been brought up a Christian. I've come to learn that from the day we were born, we're christened. We're marked on our foreheads with what we've told is the cross of Christ, the cross.
Yeah.
Basically, I believe that's a ritual to start the brainwashing as soon as you're born. We go through a ritual, and the christening is the first start. We're then taught to bow down to a supreme being, which is from a Christian point of view, God, and His Son, Jesus Christ. Fair enough. People want to believe that. That's entirely up to them. It's a very good story. Basically,
but it's a true story, though.
Well, it's true to you. Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I just can't seem to pick a fight tonight, can I, guys? I'm trying, Matthew. I really am.
I know that the people who are Christians believe that they are very nice people and they have very good morals and stuff like that, and that's fair enough. I'm not calling that, Jay, not by no means. There's many nice Christian people about. But what I'm saying to you is, the Christians believe in Lucifer, a deceiver. But they cannot comprehend that they could be being deceived by being a Christian. Now,
unfortunately, I believe it. It's the other way around. I think that there's so many paranormal things going on and experiences that are happening now that are the result of demons interfering interdimensionally with the lives of certain people.
Well, fair enough, Jay.
But let me move to this real quick. I just got an email from a person named Eleanor who wants me to ask you a couple questions. There's actually about 4 of them here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll just start with the first one, if that's all right with you. It says, red-haired persons with Rh-negative blood types are frequently bothered by reptilian entities. Delooze was born a redhead. Is he also Rh-negative?
Huh.
I've no idea.
Okay.
the simple question. I've never had a blood test.
Okay. Well,
I wonder.
I couldn't tell you.
I wonder how that fact came.
Yeah, this is just an email we just got.
Red-headed people.
The next question is
Chuck, you better watch out, man.
Yeah, Chuck is redheaded. He's Irish, man. You're in trouble, man.
Check your blood type, Chuck.
Does he believe? Yeah. Does he believe in David Icke's theory that Rh-negative persons are actually of hybrid human reptilian DNA, which is why they have such experiences? Well, obviously that question's not going to be answered. By the way, I am both a redhead and O-negative, and I have very, very similar life story to his. Judging from his story, he was born in 59 or 60. I appeared 11/1960. Delooze's childhood photo is scary. He looks like both me and my brother. Thanks.
Weird.
Huh. Oh, well.
Huh.
Well, that's nice to hear. I'm glad there's somebody like me.
That might be your twin, Matthew. That was a strange email. Thank you for the email, Eleanor. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Eleanor.
that.
Thanks, Eleanor. Thank you.
And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, well, okay. Anybody else, if you got any questions, guys, you feel free to email us. You can also talk to us in the chat room. The chat room's filling up right now. But also feel free to call us here, 877-SCARE-U2 or 336-996-1596 locally.
Yeah. We don't bite, but
we don't much.
Chuck might. But he's not on the mic, so we put him on a short leash.
So
okay, that was a bad joke. Okay.
Anyway, well, the whole arch. Apparently, they've been talking about this stuff on Coast to Coast. I don't know. That's where this Rh-negative stuff.
Might have to look into that.
Huh? Strange. Maybe you should get a blood test and check that out, Matthew.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's odd.
Yes, I will do.
But well, tell us a little bit about your trip to Egypt and some of the things you encountered there. We've got about 6 minutes before
you don't
break.
Want to go back to the Arm and Ra stuff?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
let's go ahead. Let's go there then.
Akhenaten and all that.
Well, it seems amazing to me that the Christian and the Muslim and the Jewish religions all use the term Amen. I mean, I was told Amen at school meant so be it, and to be honest with you,
yeah, we're in agreement.
I've looked and I've researched, and I cannot find how they get so be it out of Amen. And if they can get so be it out of Amen in the Christian religion, what does it mean in the Muslim or Jewish religions? Because they all use Amen.
I don't know what the religion of peace does with the term. I'm just familiar with the Christian. Sorry, I had to inject that.
Well, all I'm suggesting is it possible, I'm not saying it's true, is it possible that by doing things like the Lord's Prayer, that using the term Amen, that we're actually worshipping Amen? Amen Ra, the sun god. Is it possible that all religions, this is the question you want to put out to your listeners, is it possible that all religions have been duped into worshipping sun gods in the guise of their own preferences of a god, such as Jesus in the Christian faith and Muhammad in the Muslim faith? Is it possible that we've all been deceived and we're all conned into worshipping and spiritually giving our spiritual consent to the greatest deceiver ever?
Is it
something that smacks me in the face every time I look into it, and I get more and more convinced of this as I go deeper into the research I've been doing. I'm not shouting from the rooftops, you're all being stop worshipping sun gods and this sort of. All I'm saying is, have a look into it yourself. Yeah. Forget that you've had a Christian religion upbringing or whatever, and look into the Amen stuff. Research the word Amen and find out for yourselves what you're actually.
Well, I've looked into the Bible myself, and that's what I believe, the Old Testament, the New Testament. But I mean, isn't it possible that you're being deceived by some kind of demonic force, some kind of demonic presence that approached you when you were a child?
Well, I suppose it is, yes. But on the other hand, it's possible that that what I'm saying has some truth in it as well. The fact is, if people want to look, the problem is that people cannot break out the hypnotism they're living under, same as I was prior to 1999. I would never have thought up something like Amen before 1999 because basically I was hypnotized.
Okay, I'm told in my chat room that Amen comes from the Tiberian Hebrew as an oral tradition of pronunciation for ancient forms of Hebrew, especially the Hebrew of Tanakh, that was given written form by Masoretic, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, scholars in the Jewish community at Tiberias in the early Middle Ages, beginning in the 8th century. So Amen Ra, or Amen Ra, came before that a couple thousand years.
Amen Ra is the state religion of Akhenaten, the pharaoh, who formed like the first monotheistic religion in the world, I believe. Anyway, so
those crazy Egyptians.
As David Icke says, it all stems from the Church of Babylon, and all the religions stem from there. And basically, there was some god worshippers, and the fact is there for everybody.
Well, no, I'm not saying they weren't sun god worshippers.
Absolutely,
I'm just saying that, at that time, I mean, we see how, we see how the Old Testament God punished the sun-worshipping Egyptians. That's historical documentation.
Well, it wasn't just the Egyptians that were sun worshippers. All the world was sun worshippers. Even the Mayans on the other side of the world were sun worshippers.
And what happened to them?
Scott, that's not very nice.
Guys, we're going to have to take a short break. Hang tight with us, Matthew.
We'll get back to Egypt.
I'm trying to pick a fight here tonight, and it's not working out for me. Give us a call here, 877-722-7382. You're listening to World of the Unexplained.
Every Halloween at midnight, the devil simultaneously appears in two places: the high plains of India and a quiet cemetery in Kansas. It's November 2nd, the Day of the Dead. Two federal marshals report to the small town of Shinbone, Kansas, moments after a tornado warning, to transport a prisoner with no past, no identity. He is known only as Sin Jin Smith. Starring Roddy Piper, Richard Tyson, Jonathan Davis, Kevin Gage, Gary Casper, John Philbin, Billy Duffy, Charles Cyphers, and Eileen Dietz. Check out the movie that critics are calling one of 2007's most anticipated horror films by visiting www.sinjinsmith.com. That's www.sin-jinsmyth.com. St. Jin Smith is a Snapkick Productions film, written and directed by Ethan Detmeyer. Coming soon to a theater near you.
Hey guys, we're back. You're listening to World of the Unexplained. This is Jay Scott. Tonight we have with us our special guest, Matthew Delooze, talking about the Reptilian agenda. I want to thank Matthew again for being up with us. It's really, really late over there in the UK, and we do appreciate you coming on, Matthew, at this late hour. What time is it there, your time?
It's just after 2 a.m., it's 2:05.
Wow, okay. Thank you so much for coming on. Guys, remember, you can call in here, 877-SCARE-YOU-2. That's toll-free. You don't pay a dime. Just pick up the phone and call if you're listening overseas. I have no idea. I don't know what your country code is or any of that stuff. It's hard enough for me to figure it out. So anyway, but call your operator. I don't know. Maybe they'll help you out with that. 877-SCARE-YOU-2. That's 1-877-SCARE-YOU-2. Locally 336-996-1596. And we're going to talk some more about the conference later. I want to bring that up. But for now, Matthew, tell us more about your trip to Egypt and the things that you saw there, the things you discovered there.
Basically from when I started taking information in my own little world at the time, I suppose, yeah, I started to be attracted to certain areas and monuments in the world. I went to Amsterdam and on Dam Square, and I started to notice the monuments they had in Amsterdam centre. And what happened was memories came back to me from what the psychic told me in '95, where he said I would visit Egypt. Now, prior to '97, I'd never even been abroad. I'd only been to Spain once on an holiday. I was just working class lad. I couldn't afford to go.
Yeah.
And the psychic told me in '95 that I would go to Egypt. Well, obviously at the time, I fobbed it off. I said, well, I never go anywhere. I'm not going to be able to afford to go to Egypt for the foreseeable future. So 2005 came up, and there I was on my way to Egypt, remembering what the psychic had told me. I won't go into details how I financially managed to go there, but it happened by coincidence. It wasn't as though I'd come into money, a lot of money, or this and that. But I ended up on my way to Egypt. Obviously, prior to that time, I had no interest in Egypt whatsoever. None at all. Up to 1999, I didn't give a monkey's about history or anything.
Oh, I'm sure Egypt is probably a fairly expensive place to go there as well. The plane flight alone would probably be rather expensive.
I think it was the cost was about £800.
Wow.
It's about $1,500, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, that's what Dee just told. He's just come back from living over there for about a year or so. Yeah, he said about $1,500. That's amazing. That's a lot. So how did you come up with the cash to get this? I mean, did things just fall into place?
It was a matter of coincidence. It just happened. It came. The money came to go through my wife. Basically, it didn't. We came into some money that we didn't know we were going to get. Literally, it came from heaven, to put it bluntly.
Oh, okay.
And I'm on my way to flying over to Egypt, thinking, what am I doing? And I'm going. What the psychic said's come true again. Now, I have to go back to '99 to remind you that since the psychic told me in '95 that I would do these things from '97, every single thing the psychic told me has come true. Now, and sometimes I'd forgotten what he told me until it were actually happening, if that makes sense to you. Okay. I remembered it after I'd carried out the things he said I'd carry out. So the amazement is I'm sat on a plane going to Egypt wondering what I'm going to see, because I've got all these reptilian things in my mind, and I'd started to write articles and putting them on the net from 2004 through experiences.net. I'd started writing bits of articles, and the Holloways that run that site had very kindly put these articles on their site for me, because basically I didn't have a clue how to do it. I have no computer skills whatsoever. So they helped me out, and they put these odd articles on, and next news I'm off to Egypt.
Okay.
And to cut a long story short, in Egypt, I'd been to various temples, and I was starting to notice the symbolism around me in these temples. I ended up at Dendera, the Temple of Hathor. And this is where I had another spiritual experience, because I went to Egypt in July, and it was absolutely scorching hot. I'm talking really hot.
Yeah, I imagine so.
It was 140. It was really, really hot. And I end up in Dendera with an 8mm video camera, a pretty old video camera in my hand. And I'm stood in the hall at the Dendera Temple, and some sort of force came over me. I don't know. That's the only way I can describe it. I don't want to sound a lunatic, but that's the only way I can describe it. Some force came over me, and I pointed the camera up to the ceiling, which was about 30 foot high. You couldn't see the pictures or the hieroglyphics on the ceiling from where you were stood. And I literally zoomed in with my video camera and scanned it across the ceiling in a certain part of the hall at Dendera Temple. And I quite literally didn't even know what was on it. I just blindly did it. And the pictures I got there was basically reptilian figures. And I used one for the book cover of The Stars Are Falling, which you've got. I'm hoping you've got the copy of. And that's the sort of figures that I found there. Now, how I found them and what directed me to see them, I don't know, because I just blindly pointed the camera up in the air. I'm not exaggerating or anything. I just blindly pointed the camera, and these figures, when I got back, I didn't know what I'd taken until I got back to the UK, because I couldn't test I had no way to test what was on the film.
Right.
And I also went down into the crypt at Dendera, and I spotted what's known as the Dendera light bulbs. The Dendera light bulb figures on the wall in the crypt, and I started to make sense of what they meant. It was literally screaming to me that there's another dimension, and this dimension is controlled by reptilian-looking beings. Basically, the pictures of the Dendera light bulbs actually screamed at me. That's what they were saying. Now, prior to 1999, I wouldn't have been able to. I wouldn't have been able to figure out the symbolism that was being shown to me.
Oh, I apologize. We've had a couple calls. Apparently, guys, let me make a quick statement here. Sorry, man. Guys, apparently you've been calling. The reason you haven't been able to get through is we didn't have the hybrid button pressed all the way down. So if you either got a busy signal or you actually, that number, the 800 number, was never changed over from Twin Lakes when we did that live ghost investigation. Yeah, so I'm sure Anita has been getting phone calls of people wanting to come on the show and wondering why she's getting these. So guys, let me just say that again. You can call us now, I promise, and it'll go through 877-SCARE-YOU-2 or locally 336-996-1596. All is well now.
Our incompetence is legendary. Tonight. So just give us a call if you want to. I'm sorry, Matthew. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah, carry on.
You're okay, man. No problem.
All right. Wow. Okay.
You were saying, Matthew.
Yeah, I was saying down in the crypt at the Dendera Temple, the figures on the reliefs on the wall there were telling me that a serpent cult, sun worshippers, lived in another dimension or operated from another dimension, and it was literally through our worship that they control our life on Earth. That's how it screamed out to me. And they do this by carrying out rituals.
We've got a caller.
Yeah.
Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Mark, and I'm calling from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Hey, how's it going, Mark?
Yeah.
We're getting ready to pick up a station out in Greensboro in your area pretty soon. I can't really give any details on that, but you'll be able to pick it up at home on your radio soon in Greensboro.
Sounds pretty cool. A guy named Paul told me to call in because...
Oh, you're that Mark. Hey.
Hey.
Oh, you know this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not personally, not yet. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm not going to ask. Go ahead, Mark. What's your question?
No, I really wanted to know what the terrorist attacks in 9/11 have to do with the reptilian agenda.
Okay. That's a fair question. Matthew?
Well, all I can say on that is it was some sort of ritual. It was a ritual to basically scare the living daylights out of people living in this world. Twin Tower symbolism dates back thousands of years, and literally bringing the Twin Towers down marks a time where I do I explain it? I don't need to really explain it verbally. How does it help the reptilian agenda? It basically is telling the world to choose whether to go along with what they're telling us to go along with, which is basically do as we're told without question, or it's time to choose to do something about it. My own opinion is it will either increase the hypnosis that people are living under, or it will create in some people an awakening process. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does a little bit. I was kind of thinking maybe they're pitting rival religions against each other, so maybe, it's kind of distracting them from the real problem.
And the real problem is the religion of peace, obviously, Mark. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I appreciate you taking my call, guys.
Absolutely,
Thanks
Mark.
a lot. Thanks for calling in.
Reply. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sorry about that. I just had to point that out.
You always have to
I
point
always
that
do.
out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Basically, the Twin Towers coming down will strike off something inside certain people. It will either awaken them and put them on a path to seek further information.
Okay, we've got another call coming in. I'm gonna.
Sorry, Matthew.
Sorry, it just happens like
ahead,
that
Scott.
sometimes. Hey, how's it going? Where are you calling from?
Oh, this is Paul. I'm calling from London in the UK.
Awesome, Paul. You listen. Is this the first time you've heard our show?
It certainly is, yes.
Great.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Unfortunately, everyone in the UK has to listen to us on the internet. We don't have any stations out there.
Yeah.
That's right.
But thanks for calling. What's your question?
I'd like to ask Matthew, I'd like to say hi for a start, but I'd like to ask him what he makes of Saddam Hussein's execution. Because I know Matthew has written before about Saddam being, he believed that he was a reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar. And I wonder what Matthew has to say about his execution.
That's a great question.
Okay.
Oh, hiya, Paul.
Hiya.
Saddam Hussein, as far as I'm concerned, the person, I know this is going to sound really crazy to some people, the person you've seen on the TV screen is not Saddam Hussein. It is somebody carrying out symbolic impersonations of King Nebuchadnezzar, as you mentioned, King Nebuchadnezzar. I'm currently writing a new book with Saddam Hussein, about Saddam Hussein and his role he's played in this, what I call a soap opera, because that's all it's been. It's been a soap opera. What they've done, the Western world has put an actor in the place of Saddam Hussein, and he's basically carried out a role that links him back to the ancient times as King Nebuchadnezzar, dating back to when he was found in a hole. If anybody out there wants to believe that somebody like Saddam Hussein had hid away in a hole in the ground, well, that's fair enough, but I don't believe it for 1 minute. you can if you check on King Nebuchadnezzar, he was sent into the wilderness himself, and he grew a long beard. You know, anybody can check on it. Just type it into the internet. King Nebuchadnezzar in the wilderness. It will pop up for you, and it will tell you that King Nebuchadnezzar was sent into the wilderness, and he grew a very long, scruffy beard. And what do you have? A couple of thousand years later, you've got Saddam Hussein, who claimed he was King Nebuchadnezzar, who's found in a hole with a long beard. It's all kidology. Put it in front of you to take it in. It's all symbolic ritual, carrying out prophecies. That's what I think myself, Paul, to put it bluntly.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. There's the mysterious disappearing beard that then reappeared.
I don't believe that Saddam Hussein was on trial. It could have been one of his many doubles. It really wants some proper investigating journalism on it, but we're not going to get it. That's it. It's been hung now, and that's it. End of story. But in my opinion, it's just basically ritual soap operas.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, thank you for the call.
Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome. Keep up the good work.
Okay.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
It is true that Saddam Hussein had a lot of body doubles.
So some people in the UK actually appreciate good conservative paranormal talk. That's good. That's good to know. There's still some God-fearing Christians in the world.
It's totally silly to suggest that they've put an actor playing the role of Saddam Hussein. But I ask you to consider for 1 minute and really think about it. Not what CNN tell you, or Fox News or whatever, and actually look into it and say, would Saddam Hussein hide down a hole?
Wait. Hang on just a second. What is this, Chuck? Your Chuck is our producer is pointing us to something that says.
Unexplained Part 2. It was an episode of the X-Files where Mike McKean claimed.
Okay, it's an episode of the X-Files. Mike McLean claimed that.
They found him on an off-Broadway show or something in the 60s or 70s.
Can you hear what Chuck's saying?
Put him into power.
No, I can't. No, sorry.
Okay, hang on. Go ahead.
Paraphrase?
Yeah. Go for it. Can you reach that?
Well, it just I don't know if you're familiar with the X-Files here, the television show we have here in the States on the Fox network.
I can remember a few years ago.
Oh yeah. Well, they had an episode several years back. I think it was a guy supposedly an operative from Area 51, who claimed that in the 70s he found Saddam Hussein, I think, an off-Broadway show or something, and said, yeah, that guy's a pretty good actor, and propped him up as the dictator of Iraq. Said he rattled a mean saber.
Oh, my God. Wow. The fun we have here. Yeah, that was... Anyway, we're taking your calls, guys. 877-SCARE-U2. That's 1-877-SCARE-U2. It's a toll-free call, and it should actually work this time. We're locally 336-996-1596.
I guess they found Vladimir Putin at the Bolshoi Theater then, right?
I don't know.
Is that the one that gassed?
Yeah.
It is?
Nah, I don't think it was the Bolshoi. Anyway, I was just making a bad joke. Very interesting, though. So...
where were I now? Dendera Temple, I was.
Yeah, I think so.
You saw images of reptilians and sort of a dimensional rift.
Somebody asks you a question, your mind goes blank and you can't think for a few seconds.
That's understandable.
I should have been scripted for this interview.
Oh, we don't go by a script here.
Oh, no. We have one. Chuck writes one every episode, and we throw it right out the window.
No, Chuck's whole thing with our producer's thing with every episode, he tries to find X-Files or Star Trek like references or similarities. Usually you are pretty successful, and that's very, very
disturbing.
sick.
It is.
I mean, that is he's always pulling up a Star Trek episode about whatever we're talking about on the show. It's really, really, it's sick, man. You need to get some help for that, Chuck.
Yeah, I think you do. Weirdo.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Right. So you saw these images underneath the temple.
And they were literally screaming out to me, to my soul, really, that and telling me that basically we are hypnotized into living a life that we do not need to live. We're not meant to live like we're living. We're basically mind controlled. The whole, sorry to say this, but the whole world is basically hypnotized into living out lives that are meaningless.
No. How do you suggest that we break out of this hypnotism, Matthew?
Basically by asking ourselves questions and not being held back by our education and what we've lived thinking before, how we've lived as life before. Like you mentioned today on your Christian beliefs. I'm not saying your Christian beliefs are wrong, but we need to start thinking without having boundaries. You've got to think beyond the boundaries you've been taught, because the education we have received is causing the hypnosis. And unless you can break and have a completely open mind, you will never ever break the hypnosis that we're living under. It is the boundaries that you won't think past. People won't think past their religion, or they won't think past their income or their marriage. You've got to have a completely open mind to break the hypnosis.
What if you're wrong?
Sorry?
What if you're wrong? What if you're incorrect?
Well, if I'm wrong by saying that, well, nobody's going to lose anything, are they? They're just going to live it the same as they were.
Well, no, I disagree. If you, if I'm right and you're wrong, and you lead me astray, then what if I'm on the losing end of that?
All I'm saying is to have an open mind and not be controlled by your education or religious education.
No, I'm not being controlled by my education. I know what's true and what's what I feel is true and what I feel is not true. Just because you believe something's false doesn't mean that it's not true.
Well,
I'm really trying to pick a fight here. Come on, help me out here. Throw a punch.
Oh man. All right, Tyler Durden.
If you cannot accept that you may be wrong yourself in your religious beliefs,
I know
you never break. If the religion is causing you to be in an hypnotic trance, then if you're not prepared or willing to go beyond your religious beliefs, you will never break the hypnosis.
Well, like I said, what if I'm right though and you're wrong?
Well, if you're right and I'm wrong, then I'll sometime along the line I will be a Christian, won't I?
I'd hope so, but I'm asking. I can't pick a fight with this guy. All right?
Oh man.
Some days you just can't win. It's anyway, guys, give us a call here, 877-SCARE-YOU-TOO. Maybe you can pick a fight that I can. Maybe call in and pick a fight with me, guys. Come on. I'm jonesing for it tonight.
He's got a big target on his chest. He's wearing a shirt that has a target on his chest.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. I just made that up.
But no. I guess the question I'm asking is, if I am right, and I think that I am right. Obviously, we all think that we're right about our own beliefs. It's, we're biased. But if I am right, don't I have less to lose than you do if I'm wrong? No, just take it from my perspective. Let's say that I'm of the Baptist denomination somewhat. I call myself non-denominational, but somewhat Baptist. If I were to believe that if Christ is your only way of salvation and without Christ you suffer eternal damnation, and I believe this, and it turns out that I'm right, that without Christ you're going to be punished for all eternity, in perpetuity.
Why would an all-loving God, as you say Jesus' dad is, because that's what God is, isn't it? Jesus' dad.
Well, hang on. Let me come back to that. Let me finish my thought, and then I'm going to answer that. But if I am right and you're wrong, then you're going to end up, or if I'm wrong and you're right, then I've got nothing to lose. But if you're wrong and I'm right, then I've got everything to gain and you have everything to lose. Isn't that right? It's like Pascal's idea there. What was it? Pascal's quote, something like that.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, but
I can only say that in my opinion, if you're going to surrender your own spiritual power to a God, then you will be a servant of that God, of what you believe is a God. You will never be above. You'll never reach whatever you're told you reach in religion. how can you ascend to something that says it's superior to you?
Well, you know, it's not about ascending. It is about service. And, you know, I'm not talking about religion in general. I'm talking about a personal relationship. But let me go to your next.
Actually,
let me go to your next thought,
time,
though.
Scott.
Yeah, let me go to your next thought, and then we're gonna take a break. And now, I do need to take a break. We're going to take a break because we're going to get cut off by some of these stations. So we'll be right back here on World of the Unexplained right after this.
And we're back, World of the Unexplained, Matthew Delooze. Guys, if you want to give us a call this last half hour, the number is 818-777-SCARE-YOU2. 1-877-SCARE-YOU2.
Last chance.
Last chance. The local number here is 1-336-996-1596. Don't forget about the chat room. I think everybody who knows.
Yeah, they know by now. We're not going to plug this anymore.
Yeah, they know how to.
You have to register for it, but
right.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, but go on what you're saying, Scott.
I was just going to say I was going to answer your question. How can a loving God punish these people eternally? And the answer to that is because, well, you know, I don't know. I can't claim to be God, and I can't claim to know the mind of God. But from a human perspective, the way I see it is this: if I were God and I sent my only son down to die, and people brutally killed him, mocked him, made fun of him, and then still didn't believe after he rose from the dead 3 days later, I'd be a little pissed off. I mean, you know, I would. It's just from a human perspective. It's like, look, it's like, you know, like the joke they tell. You know, the guy's drowning in the flood, and he's, you know, it's flooding, and the guy's trying to escape, and the boat comes by, and they're like, hey, you need a lift? He's like, no, God will save me. You know, a helicopter comes by, hey, you know, because the water level keeps rising, and, you know, he's sitting on his roof, and a helicopter comes by. He's like, you know, well, you know, you need a lift? He's like, no, God will save me. And then he dies. He gets to heaven. He says, God, why didn't you save me? He says, hey, you nutball. I tried to save you twice. I sent a boat, and then I sent a helicopter. What's wrong with you? All you had to do was get on the boat or get on the helicopter. You know, I guess that's kind of the way I see it. And that could be wrong. I'm just from a human perspective, that's the way I see it.
You cannot see that...
I mean, we put people to death in America. You know, if they commit a very heinous act, you know, we give them that finality here. You know, you
about to take it off the books, though. Completely.
Can you not see that the three rising after 3 days is not linked to the winter solstice? It's nothing to do with a person called Jesus.
The winter solstice.
All the Christians have been done is duped into worshipping the sun by basically worshipping
No. The Christian religion, when it was spreading, adapted its religious holidays around some of these events that were these pagan events in order to try to get more converts.
Syncretism, I think they call it.
Very coincidental if it did that.
You know, you got to bring the people to the light, man. You know, one way or the other.
That's where we get Easter eggs in the Christmas tree, also.
That's right. There's a couple stories about the Christmas
tree. Again, is it possible that Christmas is one big hypnotic trick? I mean, you think about it.
Well, Chuck, my producer's shaking. He said he's a liberal, though. I don't listen.
Is it possible that the world is deceived into worshipping the birth of a sun at Christmas because basically they are worshipping the sun, the rebirth of the sun?
I don't worship the rebirth of the sun.
Smacks me in the face and says yes. You know.
I don't worship the rebirth of the sun as the planet, as the star of the sun.
What you think you're doing, it's what you're doing.
You can't.
What you're actually doing. We do spiritually celebrate at that time of year.
Logically,
in recent years, it's basically madness at Christmas.
No, I mean,
and the celebrate and the eating and the drinking.
I understand the premise that you're coming from, but logically it doesn't make sense. If these people are unwillingly giving power and control to these people, I'm just saying if you're devoting your power and attention to one source, but the other source is sucking off of it because they've misdirected you. I mean,
at the time of the rebirth of the sun, that any spiritual energy you're giving off goes to that ritual. It's a ritual.
I understand what you're saying.
And if you think of it deeply, you can see that we are all hypnotically forced, whether we are religious or not. And let me repeat to you again, Jay, I'm not calling anybody for having Christian values. I think they're very nice people that do have Christian values.
Well, thank you.
What I'm suggesting is that they could be being duped.
I see what you're saying, but... Okay, we're gonna.
Yeah, let's move on to Live 8.
Let's talk about Live 8 while we got time.
Well, it's same sort of principle as the Christmas time. The Live 8, in my opinion, was created as some sort of spiritual ritual. And when you weigh up who created the Live 8 concerts in 2005, Sir Bob Geldof. Obviously, Sir Bob Geldof represents the establishment because he's been knighted. He's a knight of the realm. So symbolically, anything he does, anybody that witnesses it symbolically, you're witnessing the actions of a knight of the realm. And obviously the Knight of the Realm dates back to the Knight Templar, such and such things. So any energy, any respect energy, spiritual respect energy, if it goes to Bob Geldof for organising such things, then it goes to the establishment. It doesn't go to any individual that's fighting for starving people in Africa. The respect energy is going directly to the establishment because a Knight of the Realm is organising it. Now, all I am asking your listeners to check into is, on Live 8, is the locations where they took place. And if you check into it, I've checked into most of them. Hyde Park in London. I'm not very good on saying French words, but Palais des Sales or something in things. They're all... and Circus Maximus in Rome, even the Museum of Art in Philadelphia, in the good old USA, Park Place in Canada. They're all basically on very ancient symbolic grounds or surroundings. Obviously, London is Hyde Park and the Serpentine Lake. The USA, the Museum of Art.
Does this tie into the Bohemian Grove?
Sorry?
Does this tie into the Bohemian Grove in any way, shape, or form?
As far as I know, there weren't any Live 8 concerts at Bohemian Grove. I think they're more into paedophilia and stuff like that. No, I'm not mentioning Bohemian Grove. What I'm saying is the venues for Live 8 are basically linked to ancient.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
And what happened was thousands of people were led to these locations, and basically they carried out celebrations there, partied at these venues. And I'm suggesting that that spiritual energies were released at these venues. Now, I think that when these parties took place on these venues, the spiritual energy went to sun gods, places of sun gods, that sort of... they're all linked to that sort of thing. Even the Palais des Versailles in Paris was the home of King Louis the 15th, and he was known as the Sun King. Circus Maximus are all linked to ancient sun gods. And I think that reptilian aliens somehow arrange these things through their agents on Earth, namely stooges like Bob Geldof, and extract energy at certain places on planet Earth. And these places that were used at Live 8 acted as a very symbolic place to extract these energies. I know that's some people can find that hard to believe, but it's the same sort of situation arises when you think of procession rituals. I don't know if you only seem a young chap to me, but you won't remember our Queen's Jubilee of the 1970s, where it was arranged that our royal family travel around the world.
Yeah, on the tour. Yeah.
Basically getting support and spiritual energy from the crowds to be how can I explain? How can I put it into words? As being a sort of ritual to extract spiritual energies that way, in which we endorse the people that we're told to worship, namely in that stage the Queen Elizabeth of England. What I'm trying to point out is that if spiritual energies can be extracted from the masses at certain areas in the world or for certain people, then is it possible that these spiritual energies can be used against us?
Well, okay, well, here's a question that I've been cooking up right now. Stop it, Scott.
Sorry.
Okay. Live Aid was done basically to help. You know, the story was to help the starvation.
Who never saw the money. But.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
That's fair enough. But you tell me how it helped.
Well, what I'm getting at is, if we're talking about
the money,
yeah. Well, no, it's not about money. I mean, if we're talking about spiritual energy here, and people celebrating,
there was no money involved in Live Aid. They didn't charge anything. They didn't make any money whatsoever. It was all free.
MTV did a
So
terrible
please
job
explain to me what Live Aid did. If it was billed as being an awareness raiser,
it didn't raise any awareness anywhere.
Africa.
It was just a giant party, and everybody went home.
Who's that? That sounds to me like someone's taking the mickey out of the starving people in Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
anyway, go ahead and ask your question.
It basically had nothing to do with the starving people.
I guess I won't. We gotta
go ahead and ask your question, caller. Hang on the line. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Anyway, my point is that if we're talking about spiritual energy that these cult of the serpent or whatever are using, I've been getting the impression throughout the interview that these serpentine alien forces are not very nice people. That they're very evil for the most part. And wouldn't it seem to benefit them more that they would get negative spiritual energy rather than positive? I mean, Live Aid was a big concert and people were having a good time. You know, all these celebrations are celebrations, so people are having positive energy. It doesn't seem that it would really help these evil creatures.
Very good point. What they need first, before we give them, they want our spiritual permission to rule us. We have to give them our spiritual permission to rule us, and then they can do what they want. This is what I was saying about Christmas. They need our permission to be reborn every year.
But they're not getting that permission if we're not knowing.
We get a caller on the line.
I know.
Scott,
Okay.
So let
we're gonna take a call real quick.
Yeah,
Sorry
go
about
ahead.
that. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Laura. I'm calling from Kansas.
Hey, what's up, Laura?
Not Shinbone, Kansas.
Shinbone, Kansas.
Shinbone, Kansas.
That's right. What's going on? What's on your mind?
That was my cowboy accent, by the way.
It's good to hear somebody on your show that knows the origins of Christmas. And
you're a liberal, Laura. Go ahead.
No, I'm a historian, and I mean, it's documented fact that Christmas origins came from the pagan religion.
We're not really. I don't think that we're not saying that.
She's going to pick the fight with me.
I mean,
what are you saying? You're saying that Christianity came from the pagans?
Christmas, like the
the
time and the
holiday
symbols.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that is true. Yeah, we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ on that time of year. Yeah,
on solstice.
Yes, you're correct.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying that that's not the case.
Yeah, you're saying that. Yeah, we're not saying that's not the case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did we say that?
Yes, you did.
I didn't say that. I'm going to rewind the tape. Where's my stenographer when I need one?
Chuck, get to it.
Back page 6, line 72.
He writes shorthand this entire thing.
Did you ever see that Dave Chappelle episode? It was like stenographer in a backpack.
Yes.
It was like a little, yeah.
We're going way
okay, yeah, sorry.
off
anyway,
somewhere.
Well, yeah, no, we're not saying. What I was saying was that the Christian church, when they were trying to convert the pagans and the heathens and the sun worshippers out there, they used winter solstice as a means to put it around the time of year that they would normally celebrate these pagan deities and gods. They used that to kind of put Christianity in there and kind of gain more followers of the Christian faith that way. That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
Exactly.
Syncretism, I think that. No, I don't know if that's
so
the word
what are we arguing about?
I don't know.
Okay.
You have a question?
The line works.
Yeah. You got a question, or are we done?
No, that's it.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, that's nice, Scott.
All right, later, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
Okay, we'll let you. We'll let you get back to what you were saying.
Okay,
Matthew.
go
Sorry.
on. What were you saying about energies and the serpent? Guys.
Well, what I was trying to point out here was, yes, the energies. These reptilian aliens need our spiritual permission. Our permission. They do not need to be nasty. In fact, they wouldn't get our spiritual permission if they were nasty. They are nasty once they've received our permission.
What I'm saying is
our spiritual permission at events like Christmas, especially the rebirth of the sun. We celebrate at that time, so we give the sun gods, the serpents, our spiritual permission to rule us. It is then when they turn nasty and create wars and conflict and murder people and murder kids and this, that and t'other through their agents on this planet. Their agents on this planet, like George Bush and our Tony Blair, just following orders, and they'll go murdering and butchering and killing people straight after celebrating Christmas.
George Bush is an idiot.
It's amazing to me that we've got two Western world leaders, George Bush and Tony Blair,
and they're both morons.
Celebrated Christmas and then witnessed the hanging of They Say Devon Saddam Hussein.
Of course, they eat their bowl.
What sort of world is that?
They eat their bowl of cornflakes in the morning, and they sit down and decide how many people get killed that day. Yeah, that's a good Christian. That's a good Christian value for you, isn't it?
Well. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
What makes sense to me is that the religious side of things is one big con on all sides, on the Muslim, Jewish, and Christian. We're all
Buddhists. What about the Buddhists?
Sun gods.
The Buddhists are selfish. Anyway, what I'm saying though is, how can you give these people your you're not giving them your power if you're not giving them, if they need your permission to have this power, if you're non-intentionally not giving it to them, if you're directing it.
Non-intentionally not.
Jay, I'm really clear as possible. When you celebrate Christmas, you are celebrating and giving off positive worship energy. They are sucking that out of you, and you are going along blind thinking you're worshipping a Jesus and a God. It's a deceptive action. We are being deceived on a massive scale, and that is what I was trying to say about the hypnotic trance we live under. I cannot seem to get it across to people that they're living in an hypnotic trance, and they are duped into spiritually worshipping something they wouldn't worship if they knew.
So how do you avoid?
I guess I'm going to stay in that hypnotic trance, Matthew. Go ahead, Trent.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine, Jay. As long as you know there's an alternative, at least think about it. Just think about it.
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah. D said. Never mind. I'm not going to repeat that.
Let's just put that away somewhere. Put it in the box.
Yeah, we'll put it. In the box.
So I mean, what do you propose then? I mean, if we're giving off positive energy, worshiping religions and rituals that are being siphoned off by these sun god creatures, I mean, how do we avoid giving them our positive energy? How do we direct it where it needs to go?
By not worshiping Christmas?
I mean, I don't know.
Just literally ask yourself the questions. I know it's virtually impossible, but try to forget your education you received and look at the world from a different point of view. Question everything, from the monuments they're putting up in your hometown.
So do you not celebrate Christmas?
Sorry?
Do you not celebrate Christmas?
I have literally gone through the same ritual as everybody else, because I've sat
I'm talking about
family over Christmas.
I'm talking about now. Do you not celebrate Christmas now? Do you not buy people gifts? Do you not? How did the kids deal with that?
Oh, the kids are grown up now.
The kids have their own life, and they'll choose which way they want to go. I will not dictate to them how they think.
No. What are your children? Do they share these beliefs that you have?
No, they carry out. They go through the Christmas ritual like everybody else does. They're as hypnotized as anybody else.
So are they Christian people, or are they?
Well, they're basically Christian people, yeah. It's up to them. I'm not telling anybody to what to do or telling anybody to.
No, I know
Scott,
that.
We only got about 4 minutes
I know.
left.
We're going to cut it here in a second. But what I wanted to say is, do you yourself? You do not worship. I mean, you do not celebrate Christmas anymore.
Well, I'm carried along with the crowd. You know, I'm still part of it, even though I don't want to be.
Well, if you're carrying along with the crowd, aren't you unintentionally giving them this energy as well as the rest of us?
Yes, of course I am. Yes, of course I am. Yes.
Okay. Well, you got a couple. Just a hand.
I'm going to give you the last. I'm going to give you the last word since I've been running my mouth too much tonight.
Just
go ahead. Go for it.
Carry on.
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
for it. Go, Matthew.
Well, basically, the message I offer people is question everything they do. Look at monuments that they allow to be put up in the town centres without question. Start thinking for themselves instead of their education, and basically look around with what's going on. Are they living a life that they want to live, or are they living a life they're told to live? Are they going along with a miserable job in an office or a factory or a shop? Or if so, why? You know, this is the 2007. Why are people living humdrum, boring lives? Surely we don't have to do. That's the message I have. Think of what's going on around them and try to break out of the hypnosis they're living under. Even if you just look at things from a different point of view, just for once, they can always go back to what they thought before, but just look at it from another point of view for 5 minutes and then try and weigh it up. I'm not here to tell anybody what to think or what to do. Or the only thing my message is just think for themselves and not what other people are telling them to think. And then maybe they can see something's not quite right. And basically that's my message, Jay. I've nothing more to say to that. I'm not here to tell them who to worship or whatever.
Well,
fair enough.
I appreciate it. I'm sorry we're going to have to go now. We're going to have to cut you off. But, Matthew, thank you. It's been a pleasure, and it's been a lot of fun. I hope you'll come back sometime.
Yep. Well, hopefully I will do one day. Thanks a lot for having me, boys.
Oh, absolutely.
You're a happy bunch, and it was a pleasure to talk with you tonight.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Thank
so
you
much
for staying up so late, too.
Okay, mate.
All right, goodbye.
Thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, well, you got it there.
Man.
Guy, wow. He doesn't even, so he's participating in giving this power away himself. We got 1 minute.
There's so many things to talk about here, and it's like,
I know, we got 1 minute, man.
Okay, well, I'm gonna basically say everything I'm gonna say in about 10 seconds.
All right. All right. That's not working out for you.
That was the dumbest joke ever.
I've got to plug this. OutOfDarknessTour.com. OutOfDarknessTour.com. It's being built as we speak, so you'll see continuous updates there. We do have a conference center now. I don't remember the name of the hotel off the top of my head, but it's going to be up there, and it's right off the airport. GSO is the three-letter Greensboro airport that you can fly into.
ETIA.
Tickets are $50 for the all-day conference event, $75 for the VIP tickets, which includes a dinner with the Wotu crowd, a dinner with the Full Moon Radio crowd, a dinner with Bill Schneblin, a dinner, this one dinner, by the way, guys, this isn't separate, but one dinner with all of us and all the speakers on board there. You guys need to come out, buy your tickets. We're going to start pre-selling them within the next week, and we've got to sell 25 of these pre-sell in order to have this event. So log on, and also sign up for our newsletter at worldoftheunexplained.com, and we'll continue to update through the newsletter. Trent's going to get the first one out here pretty soon.
That's right. And I guess we ought to call it there. Go ahead.
We've been cut off. The radio stations have cut us off, but that's okay. You online listeners are getting more. And you archivers, you crazy archivers, downloaders.
We love you. We love you.
That's right. So we'll keep going for another minute here. But anyway, all I'm saying is go check it out. www.outofdarknesstour.com.
Big names, big time, you know?
Big names, big time, big fun. And America's Best Value Inn, formerly the Ramada Inn Airport. Thank you, Laura. And
I know exactly where that is.
You know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
Good. So be there or be square, guys. We got to sell 25 of these tickets in order to have this event. So we got to pre-sell them. So you guys will get your money back if we do not have the event. If we have to cancel it, you will be refunded every single cent, other than the PayPal fees. You're just kind of screwed there. But we'll send you some kind of parting gift
compensation for that.
Yeah, I don't know what we'll do.
Maybe we'll send you our vampire detectors.
Yeah, D said maybe a keychain. Yeah, the vampire detector. Anyway, guys, we got to get out of here. I'm Jay Scott. You're only JDDJ on the Planet Paranormal, Karma Cast, and every other craziness networks that we're on. I'm just going to drop that eventually. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Trent?
That was kind of choppy.
It was.
I'm Trent Lackey. We're coming to you from Kernersville, North Carolina. Small town. Talk about big things. Chuck.
We out.